It's the magical girl witch type that debuted in the very first days of Medarot S. It is FSL01 Fancy-Aile, with a kit of Bug, Break Hammer, Napalm, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Charm, which gives you a damage reduction from enemies of the opposite gender. Now, right from the start, and she's pretty much been a staple balance model right from the beginning of the game's launch, and even today still manages to hold her own very solidly with her very diverse kit across the board. Bug, which is a variant of Virus, is a turn-based ailment, turn-skipping ailment attack. So if you do attack someone in their heat phase with it, it will prevent them from being able to accomplish their turn and effectively waste the entirety of their heat phase and their next cooldown. Break Hammer, of course, is a gravity attribute attack, meaning it is perfect for heavy punish. Of course, with pierce damage, it means that it will be getting the times 1.5 bonus to success relative to your Metaforce gauge, and a certain threshold being met. And then a left arm of Napalm is a gunpowder-based move, so it is a scattered AoE, so it will damage one part normally and then 2 parts at random, at 1/3 additional damage scattered to random parts. And of course, with Flight Legs, means she does have very solid, very high mobility all around, very naturally high mobility, and pretty solid evade on top of that. And then the Charm ability does mean that if she's facing off against anyone of the male variety, she is going to get a passive damage reduction, which makes killing her progressively just a little more difficult. And even in competitive meta, you still see a lot of parts from Fancy-Aile today, because they are so well-rounded for what they offer. Her head in particular has a very high heat stat, which means whenever you do see it, there's about an 87% chance or so that you are very likely going to be outrun unless you know for a fact you can and will outrun her. As a pure set score across the board, I do have to rate Fancy-Aile a pretty solid 7 out of 10 for everything that she offers. But even though she does have a flight leg, that does mean she is weak to the anti-air She does have the anti-air weakness. But aside from that, she still does have a very solid amount of skills across the board, which make using her very solid on any particular terrain or any particular instance that you can generally never go wrong with. As mixed parts, I do have to rate her much higher at a 7.5 out of 10 in particular, given the fact that Bug and Break Hammer absolutely can be used just about anywhere, and be openly welcome on any team edition. And then Flight Legs, as mentioned, have a very naturally high mobility and a very equally as high evade, meaning that as long as you aren't packing up on heavy parts in particular with your female teams, this leg can make a very good addition to just about anywhere with any major drawback or weakness, as long as no one has the anti-air skill on their side to capitalize on. Because even with the Charm-like ability, that ×5 to ×7 bonus that the anti-air is going to be dealing will definitely land something that's going to be in a lot of pain for Fancy-Aile in the long run.